But here, the question again starts with your basic study of NCERT books. You said you laid your hands on the NCERT books, started going through that, right?
Sure.
So from which to which standard you studied and how you studied NCERT books, that will be an interesting thing to know for the audience.
When I started the preparation, I was, like I had said, I didn't know exactly what this was. So I started all the way from 8th standard. And I am not saying one should not do that. That is okay if you have enough time. But once I was pressed for time in my last attempt, I realized I kind of understood the 8th and 9th, but I was focused more on the topic and books that were pertinent to the syllabus. So I went from the syllabus to the books instead of reading all the books and then finding out what I needed from the syllabus. So if it was art and culture, I would go to the textbook. It doesn't matter if it is 8th or 12th, but is this topic relevant to the syllabus? So I kind of did a back study from the syllabus to the book instead of just sitting and reading the books. And my method was I would have a certain set of notes for prelims. So if there is something that I know I cannot remember, but it would be good for prelims, I would make notes for that. Then I would have a separate note for mains, because I knew this is an analysis perspective I would get only from NCERT. So I would make a separate note for mains. So I was going kind of parallel, at least with the note making.
See, Uthara, you are using a very important concept about note making. Many of the students might be interested to know what kind of notes you are making and what is the art of making notes, especially for civil service examination. So how did you make the notes?
So note making, I think, is very key in the sense the process is going to be painful in the beginning, and it was painful for me also, because 1-page article, my note will be 2 pages. For some reason, I never understood how to make concise notes. But it was only through practice that one would get there. So if anybody is starting this process, my advice is initially it is painful, but you will eventually get there. And my idea was to pick each keyword from the syllabus. Like if it is agriculture, if it is foreign policy, India, US, India, China. So I would have notes for each of those topics one by one. And every time I go over something that I think is good for mains or prelims, I would just keep adding to it. And I used to make handwritten notes, but you can easily do it on OneNote, Evernote, or whatever platform you choose to do it.
You were making later on the precise notes, which you could readily refer to and then revise later on, correct?
Absolutely. But
you were not knowing what to do, so you in place of 1 page, you were making 2-page note. That is
yes. But I eventually I learned to make it shorter. And another good resource I found was there is a note-making method called Cornell's note-making method, where they give you, when you listen to a lecture, how to make notes. So I would, towards the end of my preparation, to make it concise, I would follow that method.
You followed the app there, what you said?
So that is called Cornell, Cornell. So there is a university where they have a certain method of making notes.
That's interesting for the audience to know.
Yeah, so I started using their method of making notes towards the end, so it will be very concise.
How did you learn that method? Did you join any course or do you have something online to learn?
Absolutely not. It is just a template that you can get in any note-making app, or when you're in college. It's just something that it's a method of writing down your lecture notes. It's not even anything. It's just how you write. Why, what, when.
Okay, yeah. That's it. So these the basic parameters of following that, right? Very
exactly.
Good.